Welcome to Treya Tarot. This is the collective reading for Friday, June 28th, 2024. Just going to pull a few cards to get a sense of the collective energy, and then I would like to pull an oracle card to sort of cap off the reading. So let's see what we have going on collectively. The deck I'm using today is the Ethereal Visions Tarot Luna Edition by, I think it's Matt Hughes. It's a beautiful deck. Okay, 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords, and then the Fool, 8 of Cups, the Sun. Oh, I love the Sun in this deck, and the 4 of Wands. Okay, so I would say today's energy comes with it a decision point. The 5 of Wands is about picking your battles, understanding what's worth fighting for and what has outplayed its usefulness in your life. So, being that all Wands cards, relate to things that make us feel passionate and alive and creatively focused, things like that. It tells me that this is something that might have been, the issue that's coming up today might have been something that really hit home. It might be something that's very personal and may have caused a lot of conflict in the past. But it's definitely something you've outgrown. This is a fight you've outgrown. The 5 of Swords immediately following it tells me that the choice involves continuing to fight and ending up isolated and alone versus dropping the battle and learning how to navigate things from a different perspective, kind of thusly allowing you to open up your world as opposed to close it down. The Fool immediately following tells me it's a leap of faith to just have some trust that whatever it is you've been fighting for isn't necessary for you to hold on to anymore. The 8 of Cups, the Sun, and the 4 of Wands, what you're leaving behind is not something you will feel the lack of in the future. It's almost as though you're leaving behind something that you were stuck on in an effort to be open to receiving the thing you actually will feel fulfillment from. The Sun is about truth and illumination, and I would say even relationships. In the Morgan Greer deck, or the Rider-Waite, the Sun, in the Rider-Waite, the Sun has a child on it, so there's an innocence and hopefulness to it. In the Morgan Greer, there's a couple in the Sun. And what's interesting about the Morgan Greer deck, because it's one of my favorites as well, is that the couple is face to face. And so there's this almost aspect of coming to terms with the truth without fear. That's what the Sun represents to me, even though it can also be a card of absolute yeses or, hope and illumination and freedom, things like that. The 4 of Wands may be my favorite card in this deck, mostly because it's a portal. Traditionally speaking, the 4 of Wands is about celebrations, partnerships, marriage, things to that effect. But the card for me represents the union that happens when you are integrated on your own and able to walk through the open door you used to be afraid of walking through. Sometimes that has to do with commitment and love and romantic relationships. This card would sort of give that impression. So one of two things seems to be happening. On a personal level, someone out there might be resigning to accepting a love that they had resisted. Or on another level, there's a leaving behind of an old way of being so that you can actually be happy. That's so far. Okay, King of Wands. I'm getting that for someone out there, there may be a person that you've resisted partnering with, even though they're perfectly matched for you. The King of Wands to me sent shivers down my spine. The King of Wands to me represents somebody who's super passionate, very adventurous, but can sometimes come in a little too intense. So it seems like there is someone out there who may have put, you know, barriers between them and somebody that they are either friends with or know that is actively interested in them because they were intimidated by their intensity. That's one potential there that came through. The Ten of Wands following it tells me that there is this sort of resignation of putting down whatever it was that was in the way between you and this person, and deciding, Eight of Pentacles, to work on it, to see through the parts of you that are afraid in an effort to actually open up to a relationship that might be really, really good for you and might kind of wake you up after a period of feeling kind of isolated and stagnant. So if you have a King of Wands out there, and gender doesn't matter, King of Wands energy is just bold and adventurous and passionate and romantic and creative. If you have someone in your life like that who's interested in dating you, you may want to consider or reflect on why you've resisted that. Obviously, I don't make any assumptions on what the correct decision is for anyone, but the King of Wands, Ten of Wands, and Eight of Pentacles tells me that you are, someone out there may be tired of resisting the thing that feels right because of fear. Ten of Wands is all about burdens, but they're burdens we carry that aren't necessarily originating with us. So they tend to be generational burdens or belief systems that came from our family. When it comes to the Wand suit in that case, that rings really loud for me as a beliefs that keep you from feeling passionate and invested in what you're doing with your life and who you're seeing. So there's definitely the potential here that someone out there is rejecting somebody that they actually really like because their family belief system doesn't support the match, you know, so maybe the person's a little different than the upbringing you had or something like that. But the Eight of Pentacles, again, this is dedication, this is work, this is nose to the grindstone kind of thing. So there's an issue or a pattern to be acknowledged here, that once you leave it behind, once you fully accept that you are not necessarily meant to follow through with the belief system you were given, that you might actually really find your happiness. Collectively speaking, if I widen the scope here, this is about us, again, choosing authenticity, which came up in the last reading I did as well. Leaving behind this sort of restrictive, strategic way of being, you know, that would kind of be mirrored with the Five of Swords here. This is strategy or the desire to win at all costs kind of thing. But you end up, if you play things that way, you tend to end up alone. So this is about taking the leap towards community and impassioned experience and, you know, acknowledging what your heart actually wants as opposed to what you think you should be doing. The Eight of Pentacles tells me that once you do acknowledge it, you'll have to do some work to validate that for yourself and to get it integrated into your experience. But that's really good. You know, the more integration we do, the better off the world is. The more awareness we have, the more truth we allow into our perceptions, you know, the better we treat other people. And here we have success. I like that omen for today because things have been really challenging for a lot of people, you know, that I've encountered recently. And success tells me that this transition from playing things the way we were taught to being authentic and showing up with our full heart is actually the exact right move to make. I like success because anything you might have been working on or any blocks you might have been feeling are ready to be let go. I wouldn't be surprised if this weekend some people out there experience, you know, big changeovers or moments of, you know, intense shifting that feels really good, really impassioning, inspirational, things like that. So keep a lookout for inspiration this weekend, and I hope you all have a really good one. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon. Have a good day. Bye.